Hey, we're live. See if anybody joins. Oh, the orientation is locked, huh? Alright, I see. So we'll do it like this then. Okay. Here's where we are. Let's wait for the room to fill up a little bit. I'm surprised if anybody joins. I haven't been on it so long. Here in Greater Santa Monica. Again, we'll just wait for some people to come in. I really don't expect anybody to come in. It's been 5 years in inactivity. So with that being said, after 5 years in inactivity, you would expect the channel to decline, but believe it or not, it's been slowly, steadily increasing. So I'm actually really cool with that. That's really pretty cool. So I figured I'd do a live stream. I want to change the format of the channel and really talk about more pressing issues rather than just things of a paranormal nature. Dimensional entities and the nature of reality, and just what this is all about. Those things are a lot more pressing. So got a lot of topics I want to cover today, and I guess just wait for the room to fill up. This is the view from my apartment. This is the 24th floor, Greater Santa Monica. I recently moved here from New York after not being anywhere, ever. I've never been outside of New York before. And so it's really been an adventure for me. And it's quite beautiful. So this is the first live stream that I've ever done. I've had the channel. This is actually the 10th year that the channel has been in existence. And, granted, it's very obscure. It talks about obscure topics pertaining to the occult. And, I guess it's the last stop on the conspiracy train, if you think about it. Shape-shifting reptilian entities, you know what I mean? Whether it's due to demon possession or a physical manifestation, who really knows? But it's happening, so I felt it my duty to document it as best I could. And, I took a lot of ridicule. A lot of people think you're crazy when you talk about things that are outside of the status quo, outside of the established belief structure. You tend to get hassled. And, I caught a lot of flack for the views that I have on this channel. And I really don't give a shit, to tell you the truth, because, you need to have an outlet. And here I am. I'm going to set up here. The sun's kind of right in my face, but... And anybody that does join, I'm extremely grateful, because again, the channel's been inactive for about 5 years. And, given the latest current events and everything, I started to think, I have a platform here, and I might as well take advantage of it. And taking advantage of it includes being consistent with posting and interacting with the people who bother to subscribe with me, because I realize that's a great thing to take your time out and to watch a video, to watch someone's point of view on the world, no matter how skewed it may be, pertaining to the norm. It's a big thing, and I sincerely appreciate that, so with that being said, anybody that does join, even if it's only one person, I'm extremely grateful. That's one mind, and even if it's one mind, one person, you can make all the difference. So with that being said, I got a couple of things I want to talk about today. It really doesn't matter how many people join, because this is apparently being recorded. I'd imagine this is my first live stream, so I'm not really too up to par on exactly how it works. But I do believe that they record. I think it's 12 hours, so it's a good way to interact. I wish there was a chat feature. I wish I could hear you guys, talk. Is somebody type something, see if it pops up. I'm not too sure how this crap works. But anyway, until that happens, So yeah, recently a lot has changed in the past 5 years in the last time that I posted, in my life and in the world. And it's pretty crazy, how we take for granted the way things are. Our freedoms may be limited, but the freedoms that we did have were precious to us, and now we're seeing them being stripped away, due to ignorance and due to a false sense of a need for security. That's what's been cultivated and created across the mass consciousness of humanity, I believe. And people are willing to give up all types of freedoms for security. And there's a saying, I forgot by who: people who will give up freedoms for security deserve neither freedom nor security. And I think it was Benjamin Franklin, believe it or not. And it's, I know it's ironic that I quote him, because Benjamin Franklin was a Freemason, most likely a child killer, because I read a story not too long ago where they found the skeletons of children under his flat. So, I don't know. If you're living someplace for, some years, and then, years later they find skeletons under the flat, it's a little telling as far as your activities are concerned whilst living in that house. But, yes, how many people we got here? Oh, 5. All right, it's message retracted. Oh, okay, so we got some people messaging. All right, so I see how it works. Yeah, again, I'm new to this whole thing here, so I'm not gonna really rehash anything because it's being recorded. So yeah, what do we want to talk about? So with 10 years with the channel, and it's amazing how time flies. Time is really, the whole experience of it is just very, very mysterious. Our understanding of time, and a lot of us tend to view time as like a linear thing when it's in reality cyclical. It's it's a construct of the physical reality, of course. So it's and I just want to clarify with you guys. I could be heard, right? You guys can hear me all right? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay, because I'm talking with new headphones, and I just want to make sure I'm being heard. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to assume that we're being heard, and also I'm going to assume that my subscribership, people that are subscribed to my channel, are already aware of, the construct, the matrix, the nature of reality, the system of manipulation that we all go through, that we're all being programmed on an everyday basis. And it's impossible. It's just to what degree. You see some people out here that are just really, in my experience, my move from New York to California, even though they're both cesspits in a way, just again varying in degree. People out here are just, it's like literally like a different country. It really is. And the first thing that you're struck by when you come out here is the homelessness. The homelessness hits you in the face. And it's a product of the weather. It's a product of the weather being beautiful all year round. I mean, I've been here for 9 months already, and this is the first year that I've never experienced a full cycle change of, winter. You're used to experiencing the winter, the deep, dark cold, it getting dark early, cold, the leaves falling off the trees. Here, that doesn't exist. There's no complete cycle, and I really feel that because of that, people are just fucking nuts. Because my experience with people out here, they're just fucking out of their minds. Because they don't have that deep winter that death, the rebirth, the time to reflect. It's like hibernation, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a constant, summer, fall, spring, or not particularly in that order. Well, yeah, in that order, but I'm a little stoned, by the way. I enjoy my marijuana, it relieves stress, But yeah, coming out here, the homelessness, it's just so in your face. And then not only that, it's coupled with the addiction of the meth. Meth is huge out here. So when you couple those things, the sickness of homelessness, because I believe it's a sickness that, humanity just basically does nothing about it. It's disgusting that we have our own brothers and sisters that are out on the street in this way, and my heart really does go out to them. It's the system has failed them, so to speak, and some might say that the system is broken, but I would argue that it's functioning exactly the way they planned it. They planned it to be. They want a person who's addicted, dependent, subservient in every way. You know what I mean? Just that's what they want. They want slaves. Slaves, and the best type of slave is an individual who doesn't know they're a slave. You know, so I got the sun in my face here. Can't really see what's going on the screen, but I'll just keep going. Yeah, so everybody I see, all the homeless that I see out here, there's always a level of addiction involved with it, or they're mentally incapacitated in some way. They're just throwaway kids, you know. They're just, you know, and I can sympathize too, because I'm very much a throwaway kid myself. Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for the comment, the first comment. You are the first comment on the new era of my channel. I don't know if you were in the room before. Like I said, the channel has been dormant for 5 years. A lot of life changes have been taking place in my life, and it's not that I didn't have time. It's I didn't have the mental capacity, to tell you the truth. You know, I really, when things get tough and I get overwhelmed in life, I have a tendency to hibernate and to retreat. And yes, thank you so much. And that tendency to retreat is a huge detriment, because, you know, we only grow through suffering. And when you retreat from that suffering in your life, when you retreat from that suffering, it's you know, in the moment, it's like instant gratification. In the moment, it may seem like you've won, but long term, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. So, you know, it's always best to face life problems head on, and to never let up. You know, if you have goals, if you have dreams, you know, in the face of adversity, never let up. You can't, you know, you have to keep hanging on. I mean, that's the whole construct of duality. Yes, thank you. Again, I thank you to all my subscribers who have stuck by. You know, after 5 years of inactivity, you would expect the channel to decrease or to decline, but it really hasn't. Battling my own habits right now, it's tough when you. Oh, absolutely. When you, I am my own worst enemy. I'm a Pisces. I don't know what sign you are, and I don't know what level you believe in astrological effect, or the effect that the heavens have on human activities and human experience. But it has a huge effect, you know what I mean? And Pisces in particular is especially dealing with duality, and both the light and dark side of oneself. And what I've come to learn is that it's always best to have a healthy portion of both light and dark. The balance, the middle ground is what I'm saying. And you know, you have to experience darkness in order to know what it is to be of the light. You have to, you know, so, you know, perfection is a great thing to strive for, but actually achieving it, I mean, there was a saying that I heard when I was younger. It was, may you achieve all your dreams except one. And, you know, I didn't understand that for the longest time. And then when the principle finally sunk in, is because, you know, if you achieve everything, then there is no movement, there is no purpose. It's just stagnancy. So, you know, life is contingent upon movement. Everything's moving, oscillating, vibrating. You know, so with that being said, you know, you always have to keep going, no matter what. So, you know, I don't know, I haven't listed something. I'm sorry, guys. I drank a beer. I like to drink a beer on Sunday and smoke a little marijuana. I believe it's very therapeutic. You know, moderation with anything, you know, especially when it comes to substances. You know, battling addiction myself, and I guess I really shouldn't be drinking. It's the lesser of it's the lesser of evils. Drinking was never really my drug of choice, but you know, I don't want to justify any habits here. But you know, after working hard all week, you know, if you have a beer, or you know your limits. I subscribe to your channel whilst you were broadcasting. You're epic, dude. Hi, welcome back. You know, sometimes sometimes when I speak, I don't pay attention to the screen, but I'll be sure to read all your guys' comments for sure. I mean, I'm very grateful that you know, even one person is here. You know, so again, thank you guys so much. Yeah, weed always does help. Yes, you know, weed helps me more than alcohol does. I only drink on Sundays, you know, and you know, weed is more of when you smoke it, it makes you look inward, I believe. You know, it's just like an introverted type thing, you know, introspective, as to where alcohol, you're more extroverted and loud. You know, inhibition kind of goes to the wind, and you you know, you do things, your thought process and your mental faculties aren't as sharp as if they, you know. And maybe the same with weed too. Some people say, I know, I've always been an advocate, like, oh, I can drive a lot better when I'm smoking pot, you know, my attention to detail, everything is crystal clear. But there's been times where I've been smoking weed as well, and you're oblivious to certain things. You might be hyper focused on one thing, but like, you know, hyper oblivious to another. So, you know, like, again, you know, everything in balance. And weed for me helps my anxiety. You know, it helps me to look inward. Sometimes when I smoke pot, I come to conclusions about myself and look at myself in ways that I wouldn't otherwise look at myself, you know, if I was in I guess a sober mind state, you know, who knows. But, yeah. So, with that being said, I want to move down the list here because I do want to stick to some type of structure that I've aligned for myself. So we've spoken about my move from New York to LA, and that's a huge thing, you know, it's opposite ends of the country, and you know, it might as well be a different country. So we've said that, and you know, 10 years for the channel. The 10-year anniversary was, I think, when did I start the channel? When the hell did I think it was in the spring of 2010. So just this past spring was the 10-year anniversary, and you know, I had no idea what I was doing. All I know is that I had seen what I had seen, and I had my experiences, and it was finally coming out, and I felt it my duty to what I feel is boosting the conscious awareness. I mean, you don't have to believe anything I say. You know, you do the research yourself. You know, do the due diligence yourself. You do yourself a disservice if you don't. If you believe someone else hook, line, and sinker, that's a huge no-no in my book. And you know, I guess we've all been victim of that at some times. But you know, that's the learning through experience is what I'm all about. You know, and a change in format. You know, with the channel, it's not going to be just about the whole reptilian shape-shifting aspect, which I have, you know, whether or not you believe it takes place or not, you know, my growth of the realm of this whole phenomena has been to include the possibility of love from London. Wow, excellent, dude. Thank you so much for tuning in. Excellent. That's very cool. The internet is wonderful, wonderful thing. It keeps like minds, you know, intact and connected from all over the world. You know, but like I was saying, yeah, as far as the shapeshifting is concerned, you know, my growth and my awareness has to include the demonic possession part of it, the entity attachment. You know, because as you guys know, you know, the human vessel is an amazing powerhouse of energy, you know, and you know, we've been led to believe that we are our own bodies, you know, that we are our body, and that we only live one lifetime, and that, you know, after this one experience, that's it. But that's the furthest thing from the truth. And every system of belief that's put into place within this world that we live in is to facilitate that lie, you know, evolution, you know, that we've evolved from apes, and that we, you know, everything from nothing, and you know, that we're living meaningless lives of chance. We developed from some fucking primordial pool of ooze, and that chance is the ultimate force in the universe, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. I mean, everybody knows that inherently. I feel, well, not everybody, but you know, I always had an inherent feeling that that was just bullshit, especially when that was taught to me in school. So yeah, you know, a large part of it, I feel, is that end, the spiritual aspect of it, my you know, more so than the physical aspect, you know. And again, I'm assuming that, you know, you guys, you know, I always assume that my subscribers are, you know, of the same mind level, you know, because you would have to be in order for the information that I put forth to appeal to you. So, yeah, so I'm grateful for every single subscriber. We ain't no monkey man. JP off grid, you ain't lying, brother. We are not no monkey men. No, you know, we are timeless. There is no death. Death is an illusion. The spirit that's in you and that's in myself cannot be destroyed, brother. Only the flesh can be destroyed. But what you gain in each lifetime, I believe you gain for eternity. And you know, creation goes out on behalf. You know, we go out on behalf of creation. To experience, and we bring back the knowledge and the lessons from each lifetime. We bring that back to the whole, to the mass consciousness. You know. We're all connected. That's how you explain telepathy, and science with a capital S is just starting to catch up to these facts, because, you know, people are waking up. People are waking up to everything, and especially, it can seem like it's a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place right now. I'm trying, I'm trying to stick to one topic, but it's good to go with the flow and to not always be inside a box. I suppose it's good to be outside of the box. It may seem a little bit manic, but there's a method to the madness. But yeah, overall, as far as who we are as spirit, we've been led to believe that physical matter is primary when it's really secondary to consciousness. Consciousness is the all-pervasive force in the universe, and they'll do everything they can to make us believe otherwise, because that's one of the ways they keep us down and they keep feeding off us. So and that's a major theme in everyday life is parasitism and the feeding of energy, because they do very much feed off of the strife and the anguish that they create. They have a huge advantage over us. The human form in this particular phase, this particular point, is extremely manipulated and extremely restricted. But at the same time, light always prevails, and as much as they put the foot on the neck, consciousness and creation always finds a way to compensate. And I believe there is a compensation happening here, in that people are waking up at an alarming rate. Alarming rate. It may be difficult to see, given the daily interactions in the world. Recently, I had a woman. I was on the street and I was smoking pot on the street, and it's legal here in California. So I assume, since it's legal, you could smoke on the street, I guess. With the same tolerance of as a cigarette, I suppose. But a woman came by and she stopped. She looked at me, and I'll post it too. And let me get into the story. She said, "You endanger my health, I endanger your eyes." And she took out a can of mace and sprayed it at me and my girlfriend, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't help but think that something like that would never happen in New York, because New York is such a diverse city. There's so many scents and smells and people, different activities, and, everybody's coming and going, and, it's, everybody kind of minds their own business, Here, it's just very different, and, it could be very discouraging viewing these people, and thinking that, humanity is waking up, but it is, There's another saying, I think it was from a movie, it was from Men in Black, where Tommy Lee Jones says, the people are stupid, the person is smart, but the people are stupid. So that kind of explains it in a nutshell for me, But, okay, yeah, pretty good, 22 minutes going. So yeah, so we're being fed off of on a daily basis, especially through the things that we watch on television. That television. I forget who said it, but they said that it's an act of warfare having that thing in your home, because it really does program us to a huge degree, and people really buy into they buy into whatever that television says, hook, line, and sinker, and they're the powers that be know that, especially with this whole virus thing. I don't know about your perception of it, but I don't buy into it, not at all. My understanding of how the United States government works, and how it's become basically legal to propagandize the people, in that, with these fake school shootings and all these contrived events that are designed, it's a Hegelian purpose. And if you guys are familiar with the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution, David Icke talks about problem, reaction, solution, but it's really thesis, antithesis, and then synthesis. You create a problem, the people demand a reaction, and then you offer a solution to a problem that you created. It's a very simple formula to control the world, and it seems to be that that's the formula that they employ 99% of the time, pitting two sides against one another, and the divide and conquer aspect of it as well. And that's a huge tactic, the divide and conquer. I mean, look what this whole coronavirus has done. It's created division. These people, and before I don't even believe they're people, but before I get any further, I heard an interesting statistic, or whatever you want to call it, but they say that 4% of the world's population is psychopathic, which means that they really don't have the ability to put themselves in other people's shoes, feel compassion, things like that, empathy. Those people usually wind up rising to positions of power because they'll do things that you and I won't do. So you find that most of these people that are in positions of power Most of these demons, these talking heads, these fucking retards that are in positions of power are just talking heads. They're just, they really have, they don't have your best interest at heart. They don't. It's just a crying shame, and it's a crying shame how much people really buy into them hook, line, and sinker. You know, it's really become a crisis as far as I'm concerned. But I'm sorry, I lose my train of thought sometimes, especially when I've been smoking and drinking, and that's, you know, another downside to it. You know, you'll be going on a tangent and talking about some things, and then it kind of just fucks everything up, you know, in a way. But it is what it is. But yeah, so back on the point of it becoming legal to propagandize humanity and the American public at this point, I really don't believe anything that the mainstream media says. So this whole virus narrative is basically just another tactic for them to divide and conquer. You know, another part of the Hegelian dialectic. And it really is very clever, and it really works. It really does work. You know, the whole divide and conquer tactic. And, you know, just look at, you know, and it works on a macrocosm and a microcosm, you know what I mean? And then the whole George Floyd thing, and I don't know what you guys believe as far as that's concerned, because there's a lot of conspiracy around that topic as well. And it's very significant that it came around the time of Corona, and it's almost like, you know, these moves that they're making are like power moves, you know what I mean? They're really desperately trying to implement their new world order, and they're trying to subvert the very little freedoms that we have left after the Patriot Act, you know, because after 9/11, so many freedoms were taken away after 9/11. We have very few freedoms left, and you know, they're trying to subvert them, and that's how they do it. You know, problem, reaction, solution. They create contrived events, manufactured events to try to circumnavigate certain freedoms. You know, like with the school shootings, that's specifically tailored to take away your right to keep and bear arms. You know, people, you know, they create a problem. You know what I mean? School shootings and the weapons are the problem. You know what I mean? The people demand, they cry, oh well, the weapons gotta go. You know, so it's just you know, when you're looking from 10,000 feet. It's much easier to perceive the whole scheme, you know, and it's difficult to get to that altitude. It really is. It's difficult to get to that altitude of awareness, you know. But I'm very cautious. I've studied the flu of 1918, whatever it is. You know, the flu, the pandemic outbreak, and you know. Significant differences. I mean, there was no mainstream media. I really, you know, and if there is some type of virus going around, you know, then it's hyped up to the nth degree, more than it should be. You know, maybe it's the flu just hyped up. You know, I mean, look at the symptoms. They're so. Have you seen the Ramstein air show disaster, alien conspiracy vids? What you take on? Oh yes, I have seen them. I have seen the. You know, just to get off topic a little bit. You know, when I answer you guys' questions, you know, you guys who are, you know, sticking with me. I got 5 people here with me. That's all I need. The Ramstein Air Show, I think it was, who was it, who did a lot of extensive research into that, and a lot of heavy manipulation. There was a lot of alien craft activity around that airspace around that day. And, you know, who knows? It could have been a ritual. I mean, there was a lot of anomalous free energy craft activity going on around 9/11. You know, if you scrutinize a lot of the 9/11 footage, which was heavily composited. You know, if you look in September clues, I don't know if you guys have ever researched into them. I'm sure YouTube has scrubbed them since their since their inception, since they were put out, but they were tremendously full of information. I mean, this guy broke it down to the microscopic level as far as video composition is concerned on that day. So, I mean, the footage is up in question, but I mean, some of the more obscure home footage, you do see a lot of strange craft flying around that day. And I mean, come on, they used some type of free energy device to destroy those buildings. I mean, they fell at free fall speeds. And, you know, given the law of entropy, there must be some type of resistance, you know what I'm saying? There's got to be, you know, that pancake theory just doesn't hold up. It just doesn't, you know. Everything was disintegrated. So, Dr. Judy Wood extensively looks into, you know, she's way more way more advanced in her knowledge on that, you know, that whole topic. So I suggest that you look into her. And that's another thing that you find. Dr. Judy Wood, her videos, a lot of them are being scrubbed. A lot of these videos, these good videos on YouTube are being scrubbed off, man. I mean, I've been on for 10 years now, and the videos from 10 years ago to now, you know, I haven't been active in 5 years. I try to find some of the videos that, you know, that have been influential to me, and they're no longer there. You know, which brings me into another aspect. I don't know if you guys are familiar with frequency fence and that whole situation, but that's a whole situation unto itself that's absolutely out of control. And frequency fence to me was a huge influence in the evolution of my awareness, and I came into contact with her the first month I was on YouTube. You know, the whole reptilian thing really caught me by storm, and you know, I thought to myself, I was like, you know, these anomalies just can't be congruent and can't be consistent with, you know, regular legitimate video issues, you know, like packet loss, you know, compression, bandwidth issues, you know, pixelation, you know, all the things that they throw at it. And then you couple it and combine it with the fact that, you know, the individuals in question where the anomalies are taking place, they show conscious awareness of the they show conscious awareness of the anomaly, and they try in vain attempts to try to, you know, mask it, or they run off camera, or they just show some type of awareness towards the area in question. And it's very interesting, and that was one of the things that caught me by storm. And I had found some material that I was incredibly, you know, curious about, because the first videos I found on the whole topic was frequency fence, you know, because her videos were being, you know, put out there, and she had the best information on the topic, and not only just on that topic, but like the whole system of control, you know. And so I reached out to her, and we started a dialogue. She sent me some Organite, some great material, some great reading material. We shared footage and material. We had great conversations, and then all of a sudden one day, no more, nothing. And then all of a sudden this weird dude popped up. I don't know who the fuck he is. He's some Zionist weirdo. He sounds like he's on medication a lot of the time. I don't know what happened with the channel. I have no idea. I really don't. Frequency Fence is a woman. I've had conversations with her. This imposter that's on the channel, that's Alexei Kunimi, I don't know who he is. I really don't. I don't know what his agenda is. You know, if you watch some of the videos, if you scrutinize some of the videos, something about he was, you know, his family were reptilians, and, you know, he needs help, he needs money, and, you know, apparently he's living on the street. He is heavily medicated, because if you hear him in some of his videos, it sounds like the onset of some type of heavy sedative medication. You know, it really does sound, his speech is slurred, sometimes more than not. I don't know who he is, and I don't know what's going on with that channel, but wherever Frequency Fence is, and I known her as Fence, you know what I mean? She never shared her real name with me. Maybe once she did. I'd have to check some of the PMs, but I don't really remember. Is it possible she shared her name with me? I would have remembered it specifically, but you know, Fence is what I called her. You know what I mean? So I don't know who this person is, and wherever the real Frequency Fence is, I hope that you're safe, and I thank you very much for your huge part in my awakening. And there's a lot of other people that feel the same way and that are worried about you. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you're with, I wish you my best. I really do. I really do. And this imposter that's on the channel there, I don't know who the fuck he is, and I don't know what his story is. You know, he's some type of Zionist, like Hebrew. He's into that whole view of the world. And you know, if anybody has, you know, studied Frequency Fence's work, it's just not in line with the whole, you know, I am the Messiah, I am the, you know, I'm the way, the light, the one, you know, slain before the foundation of the world. He's such grandiose claims, you know, that he's, you know, it's just completely the opposite end of the spectrum of what was, and it makes you think, it really does. I mean, I've had a video deleted from my channel, you know, but that's just a video. I don't know what the hell's going on with this situation, you know. It could be a lot worse, and I really pray that it's not. Yeah, talking about other pressing issues, just changing the format of the channel, you know, having an open dialogue. I think that's important, interacting with you guys. You know, this is my first stream ever. I've never streamed before. I'm not really familiar with the whole format. You know, I like to answer as many questions, or you know, pay attention to as many comments. But I'm not a very good public speaker. So, you know, all my videos are usually from behind the camera narrating. Oh, we're on low power. Man, we gotta get through this quick because I gotta plug the phone in, and unfortunately, out here on the balcony, you hear down on the street very, very, here, I'll show you guys again, just where we're at. You hear everything from down on the street. So it's rather loud, and unfortunately, in order to plug the headphones in, the charger jack is occupied. But it's a very beautiful view. I enjoy very much living here. You know, California's a great place. As far as the weather is concerned, the only redeemable quality is the weather, and you know, we've already spoken about that. But yeah, so there's this building that's being built over here. So that's pretty cool. Let's go back around. So yeah, so it's the first time live streaming, and I really want to interact with you guys and do this on a regular basis and answer any questions you guys may have about anything. It doesn't matter. You know, this is an outlet that I can talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. You know, I don't have to censor myself. I can talk about things, you know, pressing issues that are, you know, of need of attention with like-minded people. You know, so I'm very grateful for the outlet, and I plan on taking advantage of it. So yeah, so live streaming, talking about other pressing issues, and another huge thing out here that a lot of people, which I really think is going to be Hollywood, you know, the capital of hell, because I think, you know, it really is the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, especially with what's going on with the pedophilia out here, and that's a very sensitive issue, I know, but it's very relative. I mean, no, it's very necessary. I'm sorry, it's a very necessary issue to talk about, because these people, if you even want to call them people, you know, it's just a very disgusting. It's almost as if the standard sin doesn't apply for these people anymore. It doesn't do them any good. It doesn't. It really doesn't sustain them anymore. You know, so they need that, and it's heavily a part of the occult too, because this pedophile ring that's in possession of Hollywood is an ancient pedophile ring. I'm convinced. You know, because they have their shit together. They have their code words. I mean, you guys have looked into Pizzagate and, you know, all the emails, all the code words that they use with John Podesta and Tony Podesta, and how they're involved with the McCains missing. You know, if you look at the sketches of the two men that were said to be seen around Madeleine McCann's, the wherever they were on vacation over there, whatever, the sketches, they look exactly spitting image, exactly like the Podestas. And then there was another sketch that looks like Ghislaine Maxwell, you know, that other fucking cretin who is, she's a creature, boy. Oh, they're all just fucking creatures, you know, but she really is a creature. Uh-oh.
Hi, Peter.
Hello, man.
They were asking for you. Are you live streaming?
Yeah, I'm live
streaming.
streaming.
They asked you for your YouTube channel. Can you...
Oh, I don't know. It's a little... My girlfriend's live streaming people are asking for my YouTube channel.
Can I sit here?
Yeah, of course. This is my lovely girl.
Hi.
Love of my life. Always loved her in the first place. She's invading my stream. How you doing? No, we're just talking about the real shit.
Real shit.
The
if
shit
you
that
guys
you can't
want to
talk
hear
about on your.
real shit,
The shit you can't talk about on your
yeah.
on your
up,
little
Peter?
corporate stream there. Well, I mean, YouTube is just it'll probably get deleted or whatever. Who knows? You know,
I tried to write your YouTube. Can you please spell it? The Alchemist 111.
I'll get it after. You guys
okay,
are.
with a K, yeah.
Yeah.
He's live streaming right now.
I'm trying. I'm all over the place to begin with. The last thing I need is the love of my life distracting me even more.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, baby. I love you. It's always a pleasure to see your face. It's always a pleasure. I'll give it to him after.
Okay.
Go figure, right? She does like a live stream, you know, like, you know, talking about like hair and makeup and stuff like that. I don't think they're really ready. I don't think they're really ready for the information over here. But yeah, pedophilia, it's going to be the reason that this fucking town burns. I'm telling you, and it's a subject that touches the hearts of everybody. And you know, I don't know if you've heard some of the testimony of some of these SRA survivors, you know, survivors of MK Ultra, you know, trauma-based abuse. You know, some of it is just very, you know, they are over the Hampstead children, you know what I mean? It's all connected to the occult, you know. And I'm sorry, the word occult just means hidden, but it's all connected to their ritualistic activities, you know, this cult, you know, which I'm convinced in Hollywood at least is mostly Zionist based, you know. And yeah, they have their ritualistic activities. They, you know, they've been kicked out of, over the years, these people have been kicked out of, you know, if you look at them, the Sabbatist Franks movement, they've been kicked out of over 500 countries over the years, you know, for their occult ritualistic activities in their religion, in their gutter religion. And it's quite sick what they do to children, and it's for reasons of, you know, the reason that they actually feed off the life force, you know, when a, yeah, yes, we were just talking about that before. Some of them are very compelling, and you can't ignore some aspects of them. And it really ties in with the whole reptilian mindset too, you know, how society tries to cultivate the reptilian mind, which is the lowest part of the human brain. You have, you know, the neocortex, which is the highest, the limbic system, I believe. I could be wrong, it's just offhand. And then the reptilian brain, and the brainstem, which is the most ancient part of the human brain, which is responsible for, you know, your base thoughts, your fight or flight, you know, eat shit, you know, territorialism, stuff like that, you know. So society tries to keep us in that brain, you know, because when you're in that brain, there is no room for higher cognitive learning or thought. So with that being said, you know, society pumps out material and bullshit that is in line with that thought process, you know. So it connects on multiple levels, and it's a little mixture of physical shape-shifting, I believe on the highest levels, the people who have the highest genetic reptilian count, because we're all reptilian hybrids. We all have reptilian genetics in us. It's just that some people, some individuals have a higher reptilian genetic count. And I guess when it's high enough, they're able to manifest shape-shifting characteristics. I mean, it's not so far-fetched, especially when you come to the conclusion that this reality that we're living in is not solid. It's not. It's, you know, matter does not have primacy in this world. It does not. You know, consciousness is king. You know, we're within the mind of the all. It's a mental universe. So with that being said, you know, it's not what we've been led to believe. And when you think along those lines, and when you look at the world in a much more broader scope, which that belief structure allows for, you really do see the bigger picture, you know, to some degree, and you can see that you can connect the dots. I mean, you know. So yeah, some of the video evidence is very compelling, and that's very much what brought me on board. But I just want to get back to the you know, the pedophilia here, and a lot of the reasons why these individuals do things like this, you know. And it's like I said before, it's, if you want to join the club, you know, a lot of people come to California here, from what I experienced. A lot of people come here and they want desperately to climb the social ladder, and you know, that's not the reason I came here, not at all. I came here out of love, to be with the woman that I love, and from that perspective, I think it offers me a unique perspective of everyone around me, and how everybody's clamoring and fucking fighting and ignoring, you know, their brother and their sister, you know, that's hurt in the street. You know what I'm saying? They're willing to ignore all that to get to the fucking the higher echelons of the social structure. And you know, that's the mindset that's been cultivated. That's part of stimulating the reptilian brain. You know, and it's pathetic and it's sick. And I really I weep for these people. I do, to some degree. You know. And I hope that someday, you know, in some off-shot chance that things are rectified here, I hope that everything can be, you know, these people could be brought to justice. I really do. And I do think that's happening, though. I really do think that's happening with the awakening going on, especially to the whole pedophilia aspect. You know, that's really opening it up. And yeah, so back to the reasons why they do it. You know, these demonic entities, you know, these families most of the time with the higher reptilian genetic count become very easy for possession of, you know, lower fourth dimensional entities, or entities that exist outside the spectrum, so to speak. And you know, these low vibrational activities facilitate that possession as well. I mean, when you're torturing a child, I can imagine the lower vibration that it creates, you know, and it's like probably like a magnet for some of these entities, you know, because, you know, you attract the level you vibrate at, you attract things, you know. So I guess I can only assume that that's part of the reason why they do that. And also because the adrenochrome, when you frighten the child, you know, the life force of a child is the strongest force in the universe, you know. Creativity, I mean, you know, even figuratively speaking, because I don't believe in the Bible literally, but figuratively speaking, Jesus said that, you know, in order to enter the kingdom of heaven, one must be as little children. So, you know, a child's life force is the purest thing that you could, I guess, parasitize off of. And these sick freaks, they ensure a maximum terror. You know, they want the terror, they want the blood to overflow with the adrenaline, you know, and it creates like a euphoric high for them. And, you know, I guess they get addicted to it, you know. It's like heroin. It's the ultimate high to them, and, you know, at the ultimate cost. It's very sick. And, I mean, look at what Mel Gibson said. There's a Mel Gibson quote where he just recently came out, and I was fucking shocked, because I always assume that these, you know, all these A-list celebrities are all part of the same cult, and I'm sure, you know, he was part of it to some degree, but the information that he fucking dropped was like, whoa. I was like, holy shit, you know, because he really came out with like the nitty-gritty, exactly what we're talking about here. You know, he came out with it, and I don't have the exact quote on me. I mean, maybe I'll post it in the description or something, but like, you know, he came out with the fundamental aspects of the, you know, of the conspiracy and of what takes place with, you know, behind closed doors in these rituals. So it's really, it was really riveting, and I was like, holy shit. I want to actually transcribe it. I'm going to put it in the link to the description. I encourage you guys to look it up yourself. And, you know, he really gets down to the nitty-gritty with it, as far as, you know, that the consumption of child's blood has become like a currency of its own. It's scary, right? And it's just a whole nother level out here, you know. You never know who you're looking at out here. All these people, you know, you have the super rich existing up against the super poor, and the middle class is just slowly shrinking. So I wonder how much longer the situation like this is going to persist, because it's a powder keg, it really is. And nowhere else do you see it than on the West Coast. I'm convinced. It's the first time I've been here. I've only been here for 9 months. And the shit that I've seen out here, I've never seen in New York City, living there my whole entire life, you know, in and around there my whole entire life. It's just a whole different animal out here. So yeah, Mel Gibson's quote on pedophilia, I encourage you to look into that. You know, that's a major part of the conspiracy. And you know, the whole thing that's going on with the frazzle drip, I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but, you know, Anthony Weiner's laptop that was recovered, you know, when he was having his underage sexting tirade, because he's another sick fucker that deserves to be hung, like the rest of them. And, you know, they recovered on his laptop in a file called life insurance, something called frazzle drip. And, you know, it's very disturbing. If you guys have heard of it, you know, I'm sure you've been compelled to look into it, because it's Alex Jones said a lot about the pedophiles. So absolutely. Well, that's what we're talking about now. You know, with Anthony Weiner, I'm going to finish. I don't know when it was. I think it was maybe in like 2010 or 11. Anthony Weiner was arrested for sexting underage minors. And I'm sure that's not the only thing that he was involved in. I'm sure he was involved with the abuse and trauma-based mind control programming of underage children, just like the rest of them. I'm pretty much sure he was, because, you know, look at him. You know, so they recovered his laptop, and supposedly they found a file called life insurance, and in that file was a video called Frazzle Drip, and supposedly it depicted Uma Abedin, which was Hillary Clinton's top aide and Anthony Weiner's wife, it depicted them skinning a child, again causing maximum fear so that the adrenaline overflows the blood, maximum terror, 'cause that's what they do. There's a system to it that they adhere to. It's very sick. They got it down to a science, and it's very fucking disgusting. Just like our heroin addict has this whole ritual before he gets his fix, they have the same fucking thing. You know what I mean? And this particular file showed Abedin and Hillary Clinton skinning a child and ritually flaying her and then murdering her and then chewing on the pineal gland. They supposedly pull it out through the nose and chew on it. And they call this walnut sauce because supposedly the pineal gland looks like a walnut. So that's what was supposedly depicted in this video, and I don't know how many NYPD officers had viewed it, but there's been a brash of NYPD suicides lately. I think, I don't want to give any information that I'm not entirely sure about. All I'm going to say is that there has been a large amount of NYPD suicides, and it makes you wonder if some of these suicides aren't the officers that have viewed the Frazzle Drip video. But hopefully all this, these officers and all this, the experiences that these children go through, hopefully it's not all in vain, and these fucking pigs, these sick, disgusting creatures of the night, who are, they smile in your face while doing the most disgusting, immoral deeds behind closed doors. Hopefully they're brought to justice and hung. Even worse than that. I know violence begets more violence, but they deserve to be hung. They deserve to be hung. And that's probably being merciful. So, So hopefully, things start coming out in the open. And, yeah. We've been going now for almost an hour. And it's been going good, I guess. I'm glad, I'm grateful for all you guys that have stuck with me for the hour. Again, after 5 years of being inactive, I'm very grateful that the channel has increased. I was expecting it to decline in the years that I wasn't doing anything, and it's increased, and I like to think that's increased, with the level of humanity, humanity's awareness is increasing as well. That, more people being interested in this subject matter, hopefully that would, be a testament to the increasing awareness of humanity. So, yeah, so, I'm going to try to do a live stream every day, if not every day, at least a couple times a week, in addition to other videos and other videos touching on other topics. So, yeah, we're going to call it a wrap here. Again, I thank all you guys that stuck with me for this past hour. I sincerely appreciate it. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your family on this rest of the Sunday night. Stay safe and be well. I don't even know how to fucking stop the stream here, but we're gonna, this is the first time here. Save highlight. What's going on, Bashar, buddy? Hold on, I gotta figure out how to exit out of this. Yes, I love you guys.